What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for Ironheart Season 1, man. And I gotta say, man, overall, man, this was a very good season of television. It matched my expectations perfectly. You guys saw my reactions to the trailers. That I enjoyed what I saw, but I wasn't blown away by it. And I figured that the show would be pretty good, but nothing really all that mind-blowing in the grand scheme of things. And that's exactly what happened. This was a very good show that I thoroughly enjoyed, that I will be there if there's a season 2 or if Riri gets a movie next or something. But this was not something life-changing. Would I say the hate is forced for Ironheart? Absolutely. But that doesn't really say much, but I wouldn't. But I'm also not going to come here and tell you that some underappreciated like masterpieces. Like, it's not that good. But it's an overall solid show, man, and I thoroughly enjoyed it throughout all 6 episodes. Like I said, I did not like the way this was done in batches, like 2 batches instead of Disney, doing a simple weekly release. I don't know why it was released this way, other than maybe Disney caught wind of all the hate was getting there, just like, fuck this, drop it all, just get it out, dump it as quickly as possible so we can just move on to, like, what's next? Wonder Man, I think, is the next MCU show's coming out next. I don't think there's anything Star Wars really coming out for a good while, if at all, that's cut down the pipeline right now. Anyway, guys, enough of me rambling. Let's just jump right to the actual review. So the show starts. Anthony Ramos, Shay Conley, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this dude's name right, Dominique Thorne, Manny Montana, and many more. And the plot of Ironheart is genius teenager inventor really creates the most advanced suit of armor since Iron Man. Once again, man, I thought the cast was great, man. I thought Dominique is once again great as Ironheart, man, as Riri Williams. I thought she was great in Black Panther. I think she's great here. Anthony Ramos, who you guys may know, that I remember from Transformers Rise of Beasts. I remember seeing the trailers all the time. I was like, where do I know this dude from? I know I've seen him in some movie. What do I know from? It was Transformers. So, yeah, there you go. But yeah, I thought he was great, man. Lyric Rose, I thought was great as Natalie. Alden and Rinchi as Joe McGillicuddy, which... Did anyone else think of what's his name from WWE? I think his name used to before he changed his name to Krozak was something McGillicuddy back from season 2 of NXT. Man, he was Kofi's like rookie. I don't remember what the dude's Michael McGillicuddy. That was it. Michael McGillicuddy. That was his name. That was original name before he switched to Curtis Axel in WWE. And yeah, so yeah, like I heard that name and I immediately thought of him, and I immediately thought of Curtis Axel from NXT back in the day, man. So the main roster. But yeah, he was also probably the highlight of the show, man. I love Alden, and honestly, I hope he's my favorite character in the entire show, man. And honestly, I hope we see more of him in future seasons of Ironheart, as well as just in the MCU in general, man, because he was easily my favorite character, man. I love this dude. He was awesome. We'll obviously talk more about him in the spoiler discussion, but I really like what they do with him, man. So now, first, a lot of things I want to mention right now that I mentioned in my first impressions video, which was only a week ago. I love the overall cast of the show, man. I thought a lot of these characters are great, man. Especially like the last few episodes, man. Like, you got that little black kid. I don't know if you forgot actually got his name, though. I'm not sure. He was really funny, man. He was always so much funny when he's like, be like, free in this economy. And then he's like asking for interest with the wagon and everything, man. He was a fun kid, man. I honestly wish he got more screen time than he did. He was only in a couple episodes. But I also kind of wish he got more screen time because he was so funny, man. I really enjoyed him. Natalie is Riri's friend. I thought was great, man. I already mentioned Joe as one of my favorite characters in the entire show, man. We also get to see some other characters as well, like Riri's mom is great, man. His friend her friend that's also a fellow Trekkie as well, which not gonna lie, man. I don't know how I feel about Riri being a Star Trek fan. Because you guys know obviously I'm a Star Wars guy myself, man, so I don't know how I feel about her being a Trekkie. Which I'm kind of surprised that's even a thing here, man, considering, Disney doesn't own it, but they own Star Wars. You would think that they would make her a Star Wars fan, but no, they decided to go with Star Trek. Which, it's different. I don't know if there was something in the comments as well, where that was a thing, or she was a fan of Star Trek in there as well. This is like a new thing exclusive to the series. But I thought that was interesting, man, and I thought it was pretty cool, man. So yeah, like this is the cast of characters I thought was great, man. Episode 5, I will say, was easily the best episode of the entire series, at least in my personal opinion. A good chunk of it takes place at a White Castle, when, not to get too deep into spoilers, man, basically it's mostly, a majority of the episode is just this one massive fight that Riri is involved with, and you get to see her really use her brains and ingenuity to work her way around the fight to get out of there, man, as well as defeat her opponent, man. It was a really cool fight, man, a great episode, man, and that was, like I said, that was easily my favorite episode of the entire series, man. I love what they did with that episode, man. Easily, episode 5 was the favorite one. I also loved all the clever use of title cards in this episode, man. You guys remember how in the Suicide Squad they did usually had like title cards, but they were like integrated into the actual, film itself, man, and they were actually part of the universe instead of just being like literally like a title card. Ironheart does a similar thing with its title card for Ironheart, man, and all of them are clever, man. I think the one for the first one and as well as the one for episode 5 were probably my favorite ones, with the White Castle one and putting in the gravel of the road. I thought was great. Oh yeah, and also the characters, some of the other characters we get introduced. I won't get too deep into spoilers, man. But there's this girl there's this mother and this daughter who run this like candy shop in Chicago near her in your community. We don't get a lot of screen time. Then they mostly get introduced in the latter half of the series, man, the last 3 episodes. But those are also some great characters as well, man. I'm hoping we see more in the future, especially the daughter, who I'm pretty sure her and Riri are friends. She was obviously awesome, man. I'm kind of hoping we get to see more of her in future MCU appearances or in an Ironheart season 2, if that ever does come to be. So yeah, episode 5, like I said, was my favorite one. The soundtrack I thought was great as well, man, especially for like the songs they used during the end credits sequence, man. I love the song they were using for the montage when Riri's building her suit in episode 6, I think it was episode 6. Might have been episode 5. I think that was episode 5. Yeah, it was definitely episode 5. When she's building a new suit, man, that I really like that song, man, and the soundtrack overall is great. The humor is also, once again, great in the show. Like I mentioned, my first impressions, how Riri has probably the most realistic reaction ever in a Marvel in the MCU, when, like, she comes over to, like, Parker's crew, and once he gets there, man, like, they lock her in this elevator with some gas that'll kill her, and she has to break out there and to pass the test. She's like, this is illegal, fuck this shit, I'm done, I thought that was funny, man. And then in episode 5, once again, during the whole battle, when she finally is met face to face with like the people that are attacking her, and she's kind of like out of places to run, at least for the current moment. They point a gun at her and being like, the report for this, the headline for this is gonna be crazy. Genius black inventor gets killed in a White House or something, and she's like, my death won't make the news. And they're like, shit, you right. Like, that shit had me cracking up, man. That was probably my favorite gag of the entire series, man, because I'm like, shit, she ain't wrong, though. Not gonna lie, she ain't wrong. But that one I thought was funny, man. I really thought that was funny. That was probably my favorite gag in the series, like I mentioned. I also liked how the show tackles, not as much as they probably should have. I also, honestly, not gonna lie, when watching Ironheart, it felt like this series was initially supposed to be longer than 6 episodes, but then somewhere during production, the episode count got chopped in half down to 6 episodes. Because there's a lot in here, man. There's a lot of cool ideas, but things that I think should have gotten expanded on don't get expanded on, man. And just how it ends, man. It all felt like this was meant to maybe be a longer series, maybe 10 episodes or so. But for some reason, Vincent got chopped down to just 6 episodes. I could be wrong on that one, man. But I don't know. I felt like this show was supposed to be longer, man. Or at least I wish there was a few more episodes to expand on the world a bit more. But anyway, back to what I was saying. The show also tackles the ethics of generative AI and all that shit. Because obviously with Natalie being based off her dead friend and everything, man, there's obviously a lot of moral gray area about having an essay of having I don't know what I'll say. An AI. It's late, man. I'm recording this shit at damn near 2 in the morning, man. I'm fucking tired. I want to go to bed. Creating an AI based off your dead best friend. That also wasn't intentional from Riri, but she's there. And the show does tackle this a little bit, man, with certain characters and how they react to Natalie. But I do kind of wish they spent a bit more time in it. There's this one scene that I thought was really cool, man, that I don't want to talk about just yet. I want to save it for a spoiler discussion. But I thought it was really cool, man. But I do wish there was something that got expanded on a bit more. So yeah, I thought it was cool, but I wish it was against more. Which brings us into the next, man. Like I said, wish they expanded a bit more on the whole thing with the generative AI. And there's one other thing I want to mention that I thought was a really cool scene. And also, I gotta say, love the armors that Riri got. Both the Star Series and one at the end of the series, man. Both of them are great, man. She wanted to create something iconic. She definitely did that with her final suit that we see in the last episode, man. Love that suit, man. I love the black and red of it, man. It looks so fucking cool. I would definitely buy hot toys of it. Just saying, just letting y'all know right now, right there, right here and there, that I would definitely buy a Hot Toys of that. But anyway, as I was saying, like I said before, with the expand more on the gender reveal, I wish we got like either half an episode or an entire episode focus on Riri's time at MIT, just to know what she was doing there, man, or classmates or teachers, man. I wish they expanded more on that because we got bits of that in this show. We got bits of it in Wakanda Forever, but I wish they expanded more time. They spend more time with her actually at MIT. I thought it would have been a really cool thing. You got that. So I wish they expanded on that, man. I thought that would have been really cool. I wish it was expanded a bit more on the community as well. Like, that's obviously a big thing with Riri. Like, you see the closeness of her community, man, and we see bits of it throughout the show, man. But I wish they expand more. Once again, this goes in the fact that I wonder if this was supposed to be a longer series that got chopped down to 6 episodes. So I wish they expand more on her community, man. We see bits of it, man, from certain stores and other characters in the show, man. But I wish they expanded a bit more on it to make it feel more lived and more of a true community rather than just like, it almost kind of feels like a street half the time. That this, where she's at Chicago, man, it feels damn near like it's a street. Not gonna lie, man, it does low-key feel like it's just a street with like a handful of stores. But I do wish they expand more. Once again, they also wish they expand more on Riri's backstory, what happened. We hear bits of it, man. We see bits of it, man. But we never get like a full episode showing us, delving right into Riri and showing us like how her best friend and her stepdad died fully, where we get to see everything, man. All we get is some sound effects, man, and like some teasing here and there from the bits of the fight. We don't ever get the full thing. I wish they expand more on her friendship with Natalie, man, because that's obviously a big portion of the show, man. We get bits of it, man. Once again, I wish they expand more on it. Once again, this feels like makes me wonder if this show is supposed to be longer, but got trimmed down to 6 episodes. So I wish they expand more on Natalie as well, man, and her friendship with Riri before she had passed away. The show also ends on like a cliffhanger as well, which I thought was a bit bizarre, given this is like the first season. We don't know if we're going to get a season 2 or when Riri's next appearance is going to be. We'll talk more about that in the spoiler discussion, obviously, but I was kind of shocked that this ended on a bit of a cliffhanger that just kind of ends. It felt anticlimactic. It was like it just kind of ends, man. Kind of just abruptly, rather. Excuse me. Just kind of abruptly ends. So. Yeah, I guess they're really back on this getting a season 2 to expand more on this, I guess, which hopefully it does, because like I said, I like what I saw from this season, man. Also, one other thing I forgot to mention real quick. If you were someone like Roundtable that loves seeing heroes with anxiety or dealing with panic attacks and whatnot, man, you will love Ironheart, because that's a big portion of the show, man, is Riri and her dealing with her own anxieties, man, and PTSD from her friend and her stepdad's passing, man. If you're into that mental health shit, and, seeing characters suffer from like PTSD or anxiety or whatnot, man, you will love Ironheart, because there's a lot of that in this show. So if you're into that kind of thing, you'll love Ironheart. But yeah, as always, guys, I'll give you guys my final verdict, and then we'll jump right into spoilers discussion, because there's a few things that I do want to talk about. So, overall, my final verdict for Ironheart is going to be an 8.5 out of 10, which, as you guys know, yes, that means that this is near like the bottom of my MCU ranking, but as you guys know, there's not a single thing from the MCU I straight up hate, so I still enjoyed it nonetheless, man. It was still a great show. And this is definitely using probably at least for thing from Phase 5. But like I said, Phase 5 has had a lot of great things in it, man. So I'm not going to be complaining. But yeah, if you guys want my full ranking, as always, check my letterbox. I've already updated them all with Ironheart. I've updated all the MCU rankings. So if you guys want to see you guys want to see my full MCU ranking and everything, man, go check that out, man. But yeah. So anyway, guys, like I said, we're going to get into sports discussion right now. So you guys do not want to get spoiled, leave. Now, let's talk about our man, Joe. Where we find out that he is actually the son of Obadiah Stane. Yes, the Ironmonger. He is his son, and his real name is Ezekiel. And the interesting thing about this show, man, and I don't know if this was something that was ever mentioned in any of the Iron Man movies. If not, I don't think it was. But Obadiah, like, we all know that he was revealed that he was the Ironmonger and everything, man. He was behind Tony getting kidnapped and everything, man. It was all him. For as far as we know, man, the American people do not know that about Obadiah Stane. They just see him as like the COO of Stark Industries that, mentor Tony Stark. And that's a big thing with Ezekiel. Like once he gets prisoned, because of like some of his tech that Riri used that she ended up leaving on the crime scene, and that got connected back to him. He gets arrested for like domestic terrorists, some other crimes as well. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, how could you tarnish your father's legacy? Your dad's rolling in his grave." This, that, and the third. And I just don't know. It's interesting that like the American people didn't ever know that Obadiah Stane was the Ironmonger, and he was behind everything that happened in the first Iron Man movie. I guess Tony just never mentioned it or something, or maybe S.H.I.E.L.D., covered up, because I'm kind of surprised that wasn't revealed. So I thought it was bizarre. I don't know if that was ever mentioned in any like if we're mentioned in any of the Iron Man movies or not, man. But I thought that was interesting. I don't know. But yeah, he was cool, man. We end the series off with him basically becoming Electro. He uses his bionics to give him electric power, man, which end up being used by Parker to make him his glorified puppet to take out his father. We found that that's like the whole thing that's the real thing that's been driving him is that his father sent him away when he was 12 years old. And he's out for revenge to take his money and his fame and everything, man, to be respected. That's his whole thing. But which I thought was interesting, man. Now let's get into the big thing about the magic stuff. Which I believe some of this was shown off in trailers and whatnot, man. But this show, I thought was interesting with how much it is connected to magic. And I do wonder if any of this magic stuff we see in this show is ever going to come back through any future Agatha All Along season, if that ever becomes a thing with multiple season, man, or things with the Scarlet Witch. I'm not entirely sure, but there's a lot of cool stuff in here, man, that I thought was magic, where we see two of the characters, man, like the mom and the daughter are both sorcerers. And at first we see the mom, she seems like she's obviously we just see her as like just a very spiritual woman that's into like crystals and shit. If you're black, man, I'm sure we all know one older woman or someone that's into that's a very spiritual person that's into that whole crystal thing. My best friend is into the crystal thing. He has his own crystals and whatnot. If you guys remember, Sasha Banks is also into the crystal thing as well when she was on Logan Paul's podcast about like her crystals. So, it's a whole thing, man. I'm not into that stuff personally, but I think my mom was for a time. But yeah, if you're black, you probably know someone that definitely that's into crystals. And and that's about it. But we find out later on in episode, I believe it was 4, might have been 5, that she's like a legit sorcerer, and so is her daughter, man. They have their own little like dimensional hideout, man. Looks like something straight out weird Wizards of Waverly Place, low key, man. And we find out that the KB god is from Dormammu, and then we see this British guy where we found how Parker even got the cloak in the first place, man. And now, first, like all of you, I gotta stop with that. I thought this was Dormammu, and I was like, oh, connections to the first Doctor Strange. I wasn't expecting that in an Ironheart series, but okay. I'm not gonna be complaining. I like the first. I like the first. Doctor Strange. So cool. We're gonna see some more Dormammu. I was hoping someone would make an in joke about being like Dormammu, I've come to bargain or something. But no references, no callbacks to Dormammu, I've come to bargain, which I was a little disappointed about. Not gonna lie, because that would have got a good pop out of me. But if Riri said I've come to bargain or something. But we find out that the British dude that Parker's been talking to, that got him the cloak and everything, man, is actually Mephisto. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Mephisto has now officially been introduced into the MCU, and oh god, I am horrified because of one man, Spider-Man. You guys know the history between Spidey and Mephisto, man. You know that shit goes deep. And I am petrified with him now being in the MCU. What is he going to do here? Now, to be fair, we've already passed one more day in No Way Home. So I feel like we're probably not going to see much crossover between Spidey and Mephisto. Or so I hope anyway. Keep those who cares as separate as possible. But now that he's been in the MCU movie, I'm forever going to be paranoid about him appearing in like a Spider-Man movie or something and just fucking everything up. We'll have to wait and see on that. That actually becomes a thing, man. But yeah, so you now finally have Mephisto introduced into the MCU, and so afterwards, after Riri's battle with Parker, to try and get back the cloak and everything, man. I do wish. Then he tries to she rips it off in him. She meets up with Mephisto and tries to convert her to her side and give her the cloak and be like, "I'll give you all your desires and whatnot, man." Which obviously is making Natalie bring back to life because when she started to introduce magic into her new suit, that deleted the Natalie AI from her suit, man. So obviously she also it's her best friend and obviously wants to get her back in some way from your form. He brings back the real Natalie. Riri seemingly denies it, but once she realizes that Natalie's in fact a real person, not her AI companion, like the real Natalie's back alive, she hugs her, and we start to see like that black vein stuff that appeared on Parker's body when he was using the cape, man, and it starts to appear on Riri's arm, and that's when the episode ends. Literally, it ends right there. We do get a post-credit scene where Parker meets up with the daughter from the candy shop and is asking for backup on magic. So it looks like he's going to be learning proper magic in some future MCU project, perhaps in an Ironheart Season 2. Maybe he'll be a good guy. Maybe he'll still be a bad guy. We'll have to wait and see on that, man. But yeah, it looks like he's gonna be learning more magic and probably like actually learn like proper magic now he doesn't have the hood anymore. So I thought the ending was bizarre, man. Just ending it right there on that cliffhanger and ending it very abruptly, man. Like I said, the show left more questions. It has makes me wonder if this was supposed to be longer, but got trimmed down to 6 episodes. So yeah. Now the last thing I want to talk about real quick is actually with the generative AI stuff. As like I said before, Natalie, AI her best friend, people have obviously been grieving her and whatnot, man. And now it's back through this AI. And it's kind of interesting when they talk about what this is like and how people respond to this, man. Riri is obviously very against, but eventually starts to grow to like having her friend back in some capacity. Her mom, when she finds out through Natalie and now back in life, she immediately is in love with the idea. She's like, oh my god, she's perfect, man. She's just like Natalie. Can you make one of Gary, her dead stepfather? So she's down with the idea and wants one of her stepfather. But then we get to Natalie's brother, who is really good friends with Riri, and it honestly seems like they're going to be setting some sort of relationship between the two, man. I'm down for it, man. Couple nerds getting together, man. You'll never say me no to that, even if they are both Trekkies and I'm a Star Wars guy. I like them. I enjoy them, man. If they decide to go a little romantic with them, cool. I'll probably enjoy it. If they decide to just keep them friends, cool. Whatever. I enjoy what we saw of their dynamic, and I would like to see more of them, man. And also, you can go, like I said, they can go either way with it. If they want to go the romance route, cool. If they don't want to keep them friends, cool. Whatever the case may be. Anyway, when he gets revealed that Natalie's still alive, or of the Natalie AI, he is immediately rejected towards it. It blows up in Riri's face pretty hard, to be fair. And she's like, no, this is wrong. This isn't Natalie. This isn't like, she brings up her mixtape and like that's me honoring her. This is you freezing her in time. Once again, this goes into the whole thing about the ethics of generative AI and AI for bringing dead actors back from the dead and whatnot, man. All that jazz, man. You guys know that whole controversy with that. And I thought it was a really cool moment, man. Greatly performed, man. And then afterwards, we see Natalie reviewing footage of the actual Natalie and trying to mimic her mannerisms and whatnot even more perfectly, which I thought was interesting, man. It's one scene, man. I do, like I said, I would always kind of expand more on this AI thing more in the show, man. But I thought it was really cool, man. I thought it was interesting the ways they went about AI and Natalie as a whole. But yeah. I think that's about everything I want to talk about, man. I mentioned about Ezekiel, man. I thought he was great, man, and him being like this new Electro villain. I mentioned Riri getting the magic. I mentioned the magicians, man, the abrupt ending. So I think that's everything I want to talk about, man. This review still ended up being over 20 minutes because of fucking course it is, man. But hey, what are you gonna do, man? Anyway, guys, hope you guys do the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me so you feel like it. Links are across below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time. You